Let's talk socialism, or more specifically, the claim that I don't understand how socialism works and what socialism is. How is this relevant to anything? Well, this is a channel about money, about investing, about trading, about economics and business. And per this person's very own definition, it is an economic model. So perfect. It is completely relevant for this channel. So let's get right to it. So this person says, less than 2 minutes in, I can already tell you do not understand socialism. My claim, reply back, I understand it just fine. No, you understand what you have been told socialism is. And okay, I'll actually buy that premise. I can accept that. Okay, maybe I do have some blind spots here. Maybe there are some areas that I don't quite understand. I'm more than willing to have an open mind and accept that fact. So they go on to tell me more and say, socialism has nothing to do with how a nation is run. It has nothing to do with how people think, act, or feel. It is simply an economic model. Fantastic. Music to my ear. Economic models. Let's talk about it. Let's hear about it. Let's discuss it. Let's critically think through it. So how does this person define what socialism is as an economic model? They go on to say, at its very core, all socialism means is that instead of having an owner class, every person who works at a place has a stake in that place's revenue and a say in how that place is run. Okay, cool. I get that. That sounds really great. But here is the first counter argument here is I don't understand what your problem is. Because in all cases, right, socialism is being pitted against capitalism, right? What's the best economic model? But the problem I have here is nothing in capitalism is preventing you from building, and let's just call it a socialism company. Meaning you are free right now to go and start a company and organize it however you want. If you want to organize it with this socialism economic model where everybody has a fair say, everybody has fair, rights to the means of production and the revenue, fair stake, cool. There is literally nothing in capitalism that prevents you from doing so. So I'm a little confused. Now, when I told this person that, they come back, they replied back and essentially said, yeah, but it's hard to compete against a company that is completely profit driven. It is very hard to compete when a company is just savage and they'll do anything possible to create a profit. Okay, I do agree that it would be hard to compete against a company that is very profit driven. My follow-up to that would be, okay, but how do you gain profit? How do you beat your competition within the world of business? Because as of now, it seems to be, but a socialism company, they're not going to be totally profit driven. They're not going to be all about, let's make as much money as possible. Let's make as much profit as possible. And that's fine. But let's go back to, like I said, the question, well, how do you get profit? How do you make a lot of money in business? You got to be focused solely on profit, but how do you get that profit? Well, you have to offer low prices. You have to offer really good prices for really good products. And if you have two items that are basically the same and you have a capitalism company that because they are just cost-driven, we're focused on profit, and they're able to offer essentially the same product for $2, and because you're more of, hey, let's spread it around, we're not going to be cutthroat, because of that, you're just going to have to charge higher prices because you're not, by your very own definition, going to be cutthroat about trying to bring those prices and bring those profit margins down to as much as possible because you want to pay everybody around you a more quote unquote fair salary. Again, that is fine. But just economically speaking, from a spreadsheet standpoint, you're not going to be able to offer as low as a price. And you're basically a business model. So instead of offering $2, I don't know, maybe it's $5 you have to charge. Once more, I'm not saying that any of this is wrong because that's the beautiful thing about capitalism is capitalism will allow those two models, those two ideas to compete. For all I know, maybe somebody's like, hey, I get it. I'm paying more for this company's product, but I also know that this is a socialism company. I know how this company has been structured. I know how they're sharing everything fairly among their employees. In fact, I don't even say employees because everybody's got a fair stake. So I'm going to pay more for that model. That's very possible. But that's what capitalism is well, let's see what idea, works. But maybe you're saying, no, I think people care about their personal budgets. I think people care about putting food on the table. They care about having as much money left over at the end of every month in their pocket so that they can save it, invest it, go on a vacation. So I think that people are actually really concerned about prices. Like if items are essentially the same, that I think that people are just going to go for the lower price. Again, maybe, maybe not, but let capitalism decide, because maybe people are all about supporting that socialism concept. So the claim is, well, it's more difficult to compete. Oh, okay, so what's the alternative to that? That you're all of a sudden going to make a bunch of rules that make it harder for companies to offer lower prices? Because now all of a sudden, what about those poor people that need those lower prices? So I mean, is that your motivation, that you're going to all of a sudden start to do rules and regulations that make it harder for capitalism companies to compete against socialism companies? Again, that is fine. Yeah, that could make it more equal for socialism companies to compete with capitalism companies. But at what cost? Well, the cost is, they're not going to be able to offer as low of cost because they're going to have more regulations, more rules to follow. Well, they're just going to pass that on to their consumers. And now all of a sudden, poor people, middle class people are paying more money. They don't have as low as prices. But to be fair to this person never made this claim. But what I found to be the case is if you push deeper and deeper, because I do fully admit that my answer is weak in the sense of, well, just go start your own company. I get it. That's weak. Why is it weak? Well, because starting a company is very hard. It's challenging. You have to come up with a good idea. You have to be able to implement that idea. You have to be able to get funding for that idea. You have to be able to scale, build a company, structure a company, HR, marketing. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into building a company and a corporation. It is very difficult. It doesn't happen overnight. We can agree on that. I think we can find common ground there. But think about what your claim is. The claim is actually, well, no, because it's very hard, we just want to take somebody that has overcome those difficulties and just rearrange your company and make it more socialism, turn it into a socialism company. Well, wait a second. You want to take their structure and rearrange it? Last I checked, in my opinion, taking from somebody is theft, right? You want to go and take their structure and rearrange your structure for themselves that benefits you when you yourself did not actually overcome and build the company. Now, yeah, sure, you might have helped, but nobody forced you to do that. You were being paid to do that. So that's sketchy territory right there. But that's where a lot of times the quiet part comes out is no. We realize that capitalism is not preventing somebody from creating a socialism company, but that's really hard. So we would rather just kind of sidestep the hard part and just go say, hey, big company, you've done all the hard stuff that we admit is hard. But we're going to take you over. We're going to rearrange. We're going to rearrange your structure, the entire makeup of the company to better fit us. And I think that's where socialism goes wrong from a moral standpoint, because there is the opportunity for socialism to compete and may the best man win, may the best idea win. But when you start to say no, it's not a level playing field. Well, dare I submit to you that is it not a level playing field because socialism doesn't quite work that well, because at the core, people care about their personal budgets. And if for similar objects, they're just going to pick the lower price as compared to, well, I know I'm paying more, but I know that, and I could be wrong, but like I said, that's something that I would submit to you. So no, I do understand socialism, especially this economic model of it. And the economic model has some weak points, because the weak point being your thesis is, well, I think people are going to be okay with higher prices because they know that, it's going to help in more people. And that's completely possible. But that is what your thesis is going to be going in. And you'll have to just see how that works. But as soon as you cross no, we don't want to build a company. We don't want to actually put that idea to work. We just want to identify that company that's already successful, already done all the hard stuff, and take from them and take their management style, take their structure and rearrange it for our benefit. Yeah, for me personally, that's where things get way too sketchy. So let me know your thoughts below. I'm not going to promise to get into some sort of huge epic debate, because I know it's shocking to hear, but I do have a life outside of all this. But yeah, if I have some time, maybe I'll try to dialogue a little bit. But overall, that is my thoughts on it. Yes, I understand it as an economic model, and I just have some problems with it, assuming you go down certain pathways that, unfortunately, in my personal experience, at least, a lot of people ultimately go to is taking from others that have accomplished something difficult and then rearranging it for their own personal benefit. And I just don't think that's right. So let me know your thoughts below. Hit that like button. And again, completely relevant because we talked an economic model. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.